Have you ever wondered what secrets ancient artifacts could tell? Welcome to Unearthed Secrets, where we explore the hidden stories of history. Today, we'll uncover 6 incredible artifacts. Please subscribe, like, and tell us where you're watching from, and the time there. Let's dive in. The chariot that stopped time. In the heart of ancient Anatolia, where rolling hills meet fertile plains, lies the city of Gordion, once the thriving capital of Phrygia. Known today primarily for the legend of King Midas and the famed Gordian knot, Gordion has yielded countless archaeological treasures that reveal the sophistication, artistry, and ritual practices of its people. Among these remarkable discoveries, none capture the imagination quite like the Gordion Chariot, an artifact so exquisitely preserved and intricately crafted that it seems to transcend time itself. This chariot, often referred to as the chariot that stopped time, is more than just a vehicle of war or ceremonial display. It is a window into the social, religious, and technological world of Phrygia over 2 millennia ago. The chariot was uncovered during systematic excavations at the royal mound of Gordion, a site long associated with Phrygian kings and nobility. Buried beneath layers of earth and centuries of sediment, the chariot was found alongside numerous funerary offerings, including bronze vessels, weaponry, and delicate jewelry. Its discovery was not only remarkable for its preservation, but also for what it revealed about the ceremonial and symbolic significance of chariots in Phrygian culture. Unlike utilitarian chariots used in battle, this one was clearly intended for ritual, processional, or funerary purposes, designed to communicate status, divine favor, and the connection between the living and the afterlife. Crafted with astonishing skill, the chariot consists of a wooden frame reinforced with bronze fittings, elaborate wheels, and intricate carvings that demonstrate the technical mastery of Phrygian artisans. The wood, carefully selected and treated, has survived millennia, revealing not only construction techniques but also the artisan's profound understanding of materials and mechanics. Bronze components, including wheel hubs, yoke fittings, and decorative elements, were hammered, cast, and engraved with motifs that evoke both natural and mythological imagery. Lions, rosettes, and geometric patterns adorn the chariot, each symbol chosen to convey protection, power, and divine authority. The wheels themselves are masterpieces of engineering. Constructed from multiple layers of carefully joined wood, bound with bronze reinforcements, they reveal a sophisticated understanding of weight distribution, rotation, and durability. The precision with which the spokes and hubs were joined indicates that Phrygian craftsmen had a highly developed knowledge of mechanics, allowing the chariot to bear significant weight while maintaining mobility. Even today, these wheels, when reconstructed or modeled digitally, demonstrate a balance and symmetry that rivals modern engineering. Symbolism imbues every aspect of the chariot. Lions and other animals carved into the bronze fittings were not mere decoration, but carried spiritual and protective significance. In Phrygian belief, lions represented strength, courage, and guardianship, qualities essential for a chariot that may have served as both a ceremonial vehicle and a conduit to the divine. Floral and rosette motifs, commonly found on other Phrygian artifacts, reinforced themes of life, renewal, and cosmic harmony, linking the earthly journey of the chariot to the eternal cycle of the heavens. The chariot was found in a burial context, resting atop the grave of a high-ranking individual, likely a member of the Phrygian elite. Surrounding it were offerings of bronze vessels, weapons, and personal adornments, indicating the chariot's role in funerary rites. It is likely that it served as both a status symbol and a ritual tool, transporting the deceased symbolically into the afterlife. In this context, the chariot becomes more than an artifact. It is a testament to the Phrygians' belief in the continuity of life, the power of ritual, and the intersection between human craft and divine will. Archaeological analysis has revealed traces of pigments on the chariot, suggesting that it was once vividly painted, perhaps in red, blue, and gold tones. These colors would have enhanced its ceremonial presence, catching sunlight during processions or candlelight in funerary rites. The combination of wood, bronze, and pigment illustrates a sophisticated aesthetic sensibility and a desire to create objects that were visually compelling, spiritually potent, and socially significant. The Gordion Chariot also offers insight into social hierarchy and the organization of Phrygian society. Only the elite would have possessed such a finely crafted and symbolically charged vehicle. Its construction required resources, labor, and expertise that were beyond the reach of ordinary citizens, reflecting the power and influence of the ruling class. The chariot was both a practical vehicle and a statement of authority, signaling the status, wealth, and divine favor of its owner to those who witnessed it during life, and to the spirits and gods in death. Technological studies of the chariot reveal that Phrygian artisans had mastered the challenges of combining multiple materials into a single, functional object. Wood had to be precisely cut, joined, and treated to resist decay. Bronze fittings required smelting, casting, and careful finishing, The assembly demanded careful planning and execution to ensure that the chariot was both sturdy and balanced. The result is an object that could endure weight, movement, and the passage of time, a testament to the ingenuity and skill of its creators. Beyond its material and technological aspects, the chariot speaks to the Phrygian worldview. Processions, rituals, and funerary ceremonies were central to expressing social cohesion, religious belief, and political legitimacy. The chariot, with its elaborate design and sacred symbolism, was a tangible link between the human and the divine, a vehicle through which individuals could participate in cosmic order, assert authority, and ensure continuity beyond death. Historians also speculate on the chariot's role in diplomacy and cultural exchange. Phrygia was located at a crossroads of civilizations, interacting with Hittites, Greeks, and later Anatolian societies. Artifacts like this chariot could have served as gifts, ceremonial displays, or status symbols exchanged in the context of political alliances. Its sophisticated construction and decorative motifs may have influenced neighboring cultures, while simultaneously reflecting broader trends in Anatolian art, engineering, and ritual practice. Modern analysis using radiocarbon dating, microscopy, and digital reconstruction has allowed researchers to understand the chariot in unprecedented detail. Every bronze fitting, wooden beam, and trace of pigment has been studied to reconstruct not only its physical form, but its ceremonial significance and practical function. Through these studies, the chariot emerges as a bridge between the ancient world and modern understanding, allowing us to experience the ingenuity, devotion, and artistry of the Phrygians across millennia. The chariot's preservation also raises questions about environmental factors, burial practices, and the care afforded to elite objects in death. Buried in a controlled funerary context, shielded from moisture and disturbance, the chariot survived when many other organic artifacts did not. This remarkable preservation allows us to appreciate not only the technical skill of its makers, but also the cultural importance assigned to the object, the notion that some artifacts were meant to endure, to carry memory, power, and identity through time. In considering the chariot, one cannot ignore its poetic resonance. It embodies motion and stillness, strength and delicacy, life and death. Though immobile in the burial mound, it symbolizes journeys, earthly processions, spiritual transitions, and the eternal movement of history itself. It reminds us that objects are not merely functional, but carry stories, beliefs, and aspirations that survive long after their creators have passed. The Gordion Chariot remains a source of fascination, inspiring scholars, artisans, and enthusiasts alike. Its discovery has enriched our understanding of Phrygian civilization, illuminating aspects of social hierarchy, ritual practice, artistic expression, and technological capability. It stands as a monument to human creativity, a timeless object that continues to tell its story across generations. Through the lens of this single chariot, we see a civilization that valued beauty, engineering, and spirituality in equal measure. Its wheels, fittings, and carvings invite us to imagine the ceremonies it witnessed, the hands that built it, and the eyes that admired it in antiquity. Each detail reflects intention, care, and meaning, demonstrating that even objects created thousands of years ago can resonate deeply with contemporary audiences. The Gordion Chariot is more than a relic, it is a narrative, a testament to ingenuity, and a symbol of human aspiration. It invites us to consider the lives of those who came before us, to explore the intersection of technology and belief, and to marvel at the enduring power of human creativity. In its preserved form, it stops time, allowing us to witness a world long gone, yet vividly alive in the light of bronze, wood, and history. As we reflect on this extraordinary artifact, we are reminded of the universality of human experience. Across continents and millennia, people have sought to create objects that transcend their material existence, to infuse them with meaning, power, and beauty. The Gordion Chariot stands as one of the most remarkable examples of this impulse, a vehicle not just for movement but for memory, ritual, and cultural expression. In the end, the chariot that stopped time endures as both an archaeological treasure and a symbol of humanity's quest to merge craftsmanship, art, and spirituality. It remains a bridge between past and present, inviting each observer to imagine the lives, ceremonies, and ingenuity of a civilization that, though distant in time, continues to speak through the objects it left behind. The crown that survived dust. In the misty hills and fertile valleys of ancient Switzerland, where rivers twist through wooded landscapes and the echoes of prehistory linger in every stone, a remarkable object lay buried for centuries, beneath layers of soil and time. This object, now known as the Latin crown, is not merely an artifact of adornment, but a testament to the sophistication, artistry, and spiritual life of the Celtic people who inhabited this region over 2,000 years ago. The discovery of this crown, often referred to as the crown that survived dust, has captivated historians, archaeologists, and enthusiasts alike, offering a rare glimpse into a civilization that was both vibrant and profoundly symbolic in its material culture. Unearthed in a carefully excavated latten site, the crown is a masterwork of Celtic craftsmanship, showcasing intricate designs, precise metalwork, and the symbolic language of a people deeply attuned to both nature and the spiritual realm. The crown itself is fashioned from thin sheets of gold, meticulously cut, shaped, and engraved with flowing curvilinear motifs characteristic of latten art. Swirling patterns, spirals, and vegetal forms intertwine across its surface, reflecting not only technical skill but an aesthetic sensibility that celebrates movement, growth, and the cycles of life. Every curve and line on the crown holds meaning. In Celtic culture, spirals symbolized continuity, eternity, and the connection between the human and divine worlds. Leaves and plant motifs represented renewal, fertility, and the life-giving force of nature. The latten crown was more than a decorative object. It was a visual language, a narrative in gold, that communicated status, authority, and spiritual resonance. Those who wore such a crown would have been recognized as individuals of great importance, whether a chieftain, priest, or a figure entrusted with sacred responsibilities within their community. The crown's construction is as remarkable as its artistry. Thin gold sheets were beaten into shape, joined seamlessly, and adorned with delicate embossing, repoussé work, and precise incisions. The craftsmanship reflects not only a high degree of technical knowledge, but also a deep cultural investment in symbolism and ritual. Gold was not merely a material of wealth, it was a conduit of power, a reflection of the sun, and a medium through which the sacred and the earthly could intersect. When first unearthed, the crown was found in a funerary context, suggesting its ceremonial significance. It was placed carefully among grave goods, including bronze weapons, pottery, and ornamental items, indicating that it may have accompanied a person of high status into the afterlife. Such placement reflects the Celtic belief in continuity beyond death, where symbols of authority and connection to the divine were carried alongside the deceased, ensuring that their influence and prestige endured even in the spiritual realm. Analysis of the crown reveals traces of wear, suggesting it was worn during important ceremonies or ritual events. Perhaps it crowned a chieftain during a seasonal festival, a religious rite, or a gathering of the clan. Each slight deformation speaks to the crown's life before burial, a silent witness to the ceremonies, gatherings, and spiritual practices of a people whose voices are otherwise lost to history. The latten crown's discovery provides unparalleled insight into Celtic metallurgy and design. Its thin gold sheets required expert handling to prevent tearing or cracking, demonstrating an advanced understanding of metal properties. Techniques like repoussé, hammering the metal from the reverse to create raised patterns, and delicate engraving were employed with precision, showcasing the high level of artisanal knowledge that existed in the region. This crown, therefore, is not only a symbol of power, but also a testament to the technological sophistication of the Celts. In considering the cultural context, the crown reflects the complex social structure of latten society. Celts were organized into clans and tribes, with hierarchical leadership guided by chieftains, druids, and warriors. Objects like this crown were not merely personal adornments, they were symbols of collective identity, markers of leadership, and instruments of social cohesion. By wearing the crown, an individual visually communicated their authority, spiritual connection, and responsibility to the community, intertwining personal prestige with social and religious significance. The crown also speaks to the Celts' relationship with the natural and supernatural worlds. Celtic art often incorporated motifs inspired by rivers, forests, and celestial phenomena, blending the tangible with the mystical. The spirals and vegetal designs on the crown resonate with this worldview, symbolizing cycles of life and death, the flow of energy through the cosmos, and the ever-present connection between humanity and the divine. In this sense, the crown is both a personal object and a cosmological statement, embodying beliefs that span the spiritual and material dimensions of Celtic life. Technological and scientific analyses, including X-ray fluorescence and metallurgical testing, have confirmed that the crown is composed of high-purity gold, worked with techniques that would require precision tools, steady hands, and profound experience. Such expertise implies specialized artisan workshops and a tradition of passing down skills from generation to generation. This continuity of knowledge emphasizes that the crown is more than an object of beauty. It is the product of a sustained cultural practice that valued skill, tradition, and symbolic meaning. The crown's preservation, despite centuries of burial and environmental pressures, is extraordinary. Buried in a stable soil environment, shielded from moisture and major disturbances, it survived when many other organic and metallic artifacts decayed. Its endurance allows modern observers to witness not only the aesthetic qualities of Celtic craftsmanship, but also the spiritual and societal values encoded within. Every swirl, every engraved motif, tells a story of reverence, devotion, and the desire to leave a mark that transcends mortality. The La Tène crown also raises intriguing questions about the Celts' interactions with neighboring cultures. Trade networks, migration patterns, and cultural exchanges influenced material culture, artistic styles, and technological development. Comparisons with artifacts from Gaul, the British Isles, and Central Europe reveal shared motifs, techniques, and symbolic language, highlighting a pan-European network of ideas and craftsmanship. The crown thus serves as a tangible link in this broader cultural dialogue, connecting Switzerland's ancient inhabitants to a wider Celtic world. More than a mere artifact, the crown embodies the interplay of artistry, ritual, and authority. Its very survival challenges modern observers to consider the ways in which human creativity endures, how cultural expression can transcend time, and how material objects can carry profound meaning across centuries. In its golden spirals and delicate motifs, we see a civilization that celebrated beauty, mastery, and spiritual connectivity, demonstrating that even objects of adornment were vessels for memory, belief, and identity. Every time the crown is displayed in a museum or examined by scholars, it reminds us of the Celts' ingenuity and the enduring power of objects to communicate across millennia. It embodies motion and stillness, life and death, human skill and divine inspiration. Though silent, it speaks volumes about a society that revered art, authority, and spiritual presence, leaving behind a legacy encoded in gold that has withstood the ravages of time. In contemplating the La Tène crown, one is drawn not only to its technical brilliance but to its narrative power. It tells the story of a people who understood that objects could encapsulate identity, spirituality, and leadership. It narrates a culture that recognized the intertwined nature of beauty, authority, and ritual. The crown is a beacon of cultural memory, a piece of the past that continues to teach, inspire, and captivate all who encounter it. The crown that survived dust endures as a symbol of human aspiration and artistic achievement. It stands as a testament to the Celts' dedication to craft, their deep spiritual understanding, and their desire to create objects that would resonate far beyond their own lifetimes. Each curve and spiral, each delicate leaf motif, invites us to imagine the ceremonies it witnessed, the hands that shaped it, and the world it once illuminated. Through this golden artifact, we glimpse a society that valued connection, continuity, and expression, reminding us that the objects left behind by our ancestors are more than relics. They are storytellers, carrying messages of artistry, power, and belief through the ages. The La Tène crown, preserved against the odds, has indeed survived the dust of centuries, offering a timeless reflection of a civilization's soul and inviting us to marvel at the enduring beauty and profound meaning that humans have long sought to capture in the objects they create. The tablet that spoke of floods. In the ancient city of Ebla, nestled in the fertile plains of modern-day Syria, a civilization flourished over 4,000 years ago, leaving behind a legacy that would intrigue and mystify scholars for centuries. Ebla was a hub of culture, commerce, and governance, with elaborate palaces, temples, and archives filled with clay tablets that recorded every aspect of its society. Among these countless relics, one artifact stands out for its historical, cultural, and mythological significance: the Ebla clay tablet that recounts stories of great floods, often referred to as the tablet that spoke of floods. This remarkable tablet is more than an ancient record. It is a testimony to the ways humans have sought to understand natural disasters, divine will, and the fragility of life over millennia. The tablet was discovered during excavations in the Ebla archaeological site in the 1970s, a period that marked a renaissance in Near Eastern archaeology. Archaeologists uncovered layers of administrative and literary archives, with thousands of inscribed clay tablets written in the Eblate language, using cuneiform script. Among these, the flood tablet immediately drew attention because of its content. A narrative describing a massive deluge, the devastation it wrought upon the city and surrounding lands, and the divine forces believed to have orchestrated it. Unlike other mundane administrative tablets that recorded trade, taxation, or legal agreements, this tablet ventured into storytelling, mythology, and theology, offering a rare window into the worldview of an ancient civilization. The tablet itself is modest in size but immense in significance. Its clay surface bears the wedge-shaped impressions of cuneiform writing, meticulously etched by a scribe using a stylus while the clay was still soft. Each symbol is deliberate, conveying not only meaning, but also the authority and precision of the scribe who recorded events that were likely considered sacred. Scholars have studied the tablet extensively, noting how its language, phrasing, and stylistic conventions reflect both the administrative rigor of Ebla and its mythopoetic imagination. The story of the flood is not merely a tale of water overwhelming land. It is an account embedded with theological and moral interpretations, demonstrating that the people of Ebla viewed natural disasters as intertwined with human conduct and divine judgment. The narrative of the tablet describes torrential rains, rivers overflowing their banks, and lands submerged under a relentless deluge. While modern readers may perceive this as a simple recounting of a natural catastrophe, for the ancient Ebla, the flood carried layered meanings. It represented the capriciousness of the gods, the vulnerability of human settlements, and the consequences of failing to adhere to divine law or social order. In this context, the tablet is not only a record of a flood event, but a moral, political, and religious text, instructing future generations about proper conduct, reverence, and preparedness in a world governed by unpredictable forces. What makes the tablet even more remarkable is its connection to broader Near Eastern flood narratives. Scholars have noted similarities between the Ebla flood story and later Mesopotamian epics, including the Atrahasis and the Epic of Gilgamesh. While differences exist in detail, plot, and characters, the core motif of a great flood sent by divine forces and the survival of chosen individuals suggests a shared cultural memory, or a diffusion of flood myths across time and space. The Ebla tablet may represent one of the earliest written attestations of this enduring mythological theme, providing crucial insight into how humans in the ancient Near East understood catastrophe, survival, and divine intervention. The tablet also sheds light on the administrative and intellectual sophistication of Ebla. The city maintained a vast archive, with scribes trained to record transactions, legal decrees, religious texts, and historical events. That the story of a flood was included in such an archive suggests it had societal importance, potentially serving as both a warning and a record of divine favor or disfavor. The care with which the tablet was inscribed, preserved, and stored underscores the Ebla's recognition that certain narratives were too important to lose, blending historical memory with religious and cultural instruction. From a technological perspective, the tablet exemplifies the ingenuity of cuneiform writing, inscribed on soft clay, which was then baked or dried to ensure longevity. The script could endure thousands of years, allowing modern archaeologists to recover voices from the distant past. The Ebla scribes had mastered the wedge-shaped script, capable of conveying complex sentences, abstract ideas, and nuanced expressions. Every indentation represents not merely a word but a connection across millennia, linking contemporary readers with thoughts, fears, and interpretations that arose in the midst of a civilization both familiar and alien to us. The flood tablet also provides valuable insight into the Ebla's environmental understanding. By recording the occurrence of massive water events, they demonstrated observational skills, awareness of climatic patterns, and an ability to encode ecological events into social and religious frameworks. This blend of empirical observation and myth-making reflects a worldview in which human experience, natural forces, and divine will were inseparably intertwined. The tablet thus becomes both a document of early environmental awareness and a literary artifact, straddling the boundary between history and mythology. Further, the tablet's existence prompts reflection on how societies commemorate trauma. Floods were catastrophic events that disrupted food supply, infrastructure, and social stability. By inscribing such events onto durable clay, the oblates ensured that collective memory would persist. The tablet is not just an artifact, it is a tool for communal continuity, education, and reflection, demonstrating that even in antiquity, humans sought to make sense of calamity through documentation, narrative, and interpretation. Archaeological studies reveal that the tablet likely belonged to a broader archive that included legal, administrative, and ritual texts. This context situates the flood narrative within a sophisticated societal framework. It was not a standalone story but part of a complex system of knowledge, governance, and spirituality, reflecting a civilization that valued order, memory, and moral guidance. Such integration emphasizes the multifunctional nature of written texts in ancient societies. They were simultaneously legal instruments, moral guides, and repositories of collective knowledge. The tablet's preservation also sparks intrigue regarding the passage of time. Buried beneath layers of sediment, it survived earthquakes, weathering, and human activity, allowing modern scholars to decode its messages thousands of years later. This endurance underscores the remarkable durability of clay as a medium and highlights the oblate's foresight in creating lasting records. In a sense, the tablet has become a time capsule, preserving not only the story of a flood, but also the intellectual, spiritual, and artistic achievements of a civilization largely erased by history. When reading the tablet, one cannot help but imagine the people who created it, the scribe, with careful hands and a trained eye, the elders who dictated the narrative, and the citizens who internalized its warnings and lessons. The flood story would have resonated across generations, shaping societal behavior, reinforcing religious belief, and transmitting cultural values. It is a rare instance in which a single artifact embodies the voice of a people, their fears, aspirations, and interpretations of the forces that governed their world. The Ebla clay tablet also invites comparisons with modern understandings of history, natural disasters, and mythology. While we rely on scientific data to explain floods today, the Ebla clates framed the phenomenon within a spiritual and moral context. Their approach highlights the human need to interpret, assign meaning, and learn from events that otherwise appear chaotic or destructive. In this light, the tablet is not only an archaeological treasure, but also a profound philosophical statement about the ways humans confront uncertainty, calamity, and mortality. In conclusion, the tablet that spoke of floods is more than a relic of an ancient civilization. It is a bridge across time, connecting us to the minds, hearts, and souls of the Ebla clates. It tells of a people who sought to understand the forces of nature, the will of the divine, and the fragility of human life. Through its inscriptions, we gain insight into the sophistication, spirituality, and literary skill of one of the ancient world's most remarkable cultures. The tablet continues to speak, not just of floods, but of humanity's enduring quest to record, remember, and find meaning in the face of uncertainty. It stands as a testament to the power of writing, the resilience of culture, and the ability of objects to carry human stories across millennia, ensuring that the voices of the past remain alive, instructive, and inspiring for generations to come. The vessel that captured rain. In the dense forests, misty mountains, and river valleys of ancient Japan, long before the rise of emperors and the establishment of dynasties, a remarkable culture flourished, leaving behind artifacts that speak across millennia. Among the most extraordinary remnants of this era is the Jomon civilization, named after the distinctive cord-marked patterns, Jomon meaning cord pattern, found on their pottery. These pots, vessels, and containers are not simply utilitarian objects, they are works of art, cultural records, and spiritual symbols. Among these, one artifact stands out in both artistry and historical significance, a Jomon vessel designed in such a way that it seems to embody the very essence of water and rain, a vessel we now call the vessel that captured rain. This pottery piece, ancient yet remarkably preserved, tells a story of human ingenuity, spiritual awareness, and the intricate relationship between early Japanese communities and the natural world. Discovered in the layers of archaeological sites scattered across the Japanese archipelago, from the plains of Tohoku to the forests of Kyushu, this vessel is a testament to the sophisticated craftsmanship of Jomon artisans who lived between 14,000 BCE and 300 BCE. Unlike simple utilitarian containers, this vessel was carefully shaped and decorated, designed not merely to hold water, but to symbolize and engage with the life-giving forces of nature. The Jomon people, primarily hunter-gatherers with emerging agricultural practices, relied on the environment for sustenance and survival, and their artistic expressions reflected a profound respect and understanding of natural cycles. In this context, a vessel capable of capturing and holding rainwater represents both practical utility and symbolic meaning, embodying the interdependence between humans and their environment. The vessel itself is distinguished by its distinctive cord-marked patterns and intricate incised designs. These decorations were not applied haphazardly, but were carefully planned and executed, conveying aesthetic sensibilities as well as cultural narratives. The swirling motifs, concentric circles, and textured surfaces evoke flowing water, rainfall, and ripples across a pond, suggesting that the pot itself was an embodiment of the rain it collected. The grooves and impressions created by pressing cords, sticks, or fingernails into soft clay are both functional and decorative, allowing the vessel to dry evenly while also serving as a visual representation of natural rhythms. One of the most remarkable aspects of the Jomon vessel is its durability. Fired in open pits or low-temperature kilns, these vessels were designed to withstand daily use while also surviving centuries of burial and environmental exposure. The very survival of such pottery into modern times provides archaeologists and historians with invaluable insight into early human settlement patterns, resource utilization, and artistic innovation. By examining the vessel's shape, size, and decoration, scholars can infer not only its functional role but also its symbolic significance, revealing a society deeply attuned to seasonal changes, water management, and ritual practices. The vessel likely served multiple purposes, reflecting the multifaceted lives of the Jomon people. Functionally, it could collect and store rainwater, essential for daily survival in regions where freshwater sources varied with the seasons. In addition to practical usage, the vessel may have held a ceremonial role, particularly in rituals associated with rain, fertility, or agricultural cycles. Archaeological context suggests that such vessels were often placed near dwellings, communal spaces, or even burial sites, indicating their importance in both domestic and spiritual spheres. The act of capturing rain in a vessel may have been imbued with sacred significance, symbolizing the human desire to preserve and harness the blessings of nature, to control what is ephemeral, and to honor the forces that sustain life. The decorative patterns on the vessel offer further insight into the cognitive and artistic sophistication of Jauman society. Spirals, wavy lines, and concentric circles are recurring motifs, echoing natural forms such as streams, rippling water, and rainfall. These designs are not merely ornamental, they function as a visual language, communicating ideas about the environment, spirituality, and communal identity. The Jauman people may have viewed water as a living force, deserving reverence and careful management, and the vessel itself becomes a tangible manifestation of this worldview. The intricate chord patterns also suggest a level of symbolic thinking that goes beyond mere survival, indicating a culture capable of abstract representation and aesthetic contemplation. Scientific studies of Jauman pottery reveal remarkable technical skill. The clay used was carefully selected, often mixed with sand or crushed stone to improve strength and prevent cracking during firing. The firing process, while simple by modern standards, required precise control of temperature, placement, and airflow to achieve the desired durability and coloration. This technical mastery demonstrates that the Jauman people were not only skilled in practical crafts but also possessed an advanced understanding of materials science and experimentation. The vessel's survival into the present day is a testament to their ingenuity, patience, and attention to detail. Beyond its material qualities, the vessel represents a profound connection between humans and their environment. In a world without modern infrastructure, the ability to collect, store, and manage water was essential for survival. The Jauman people, living in harmony with seasonal rains, rivers, and lakes, developed technologies and cultural practices that reflected this dependence. By designing vessels that could capture rain, they were not merely storing water, they were enacting a form of stewardship, acknowledging the cycles of nature, and creating a tangible link between human activity and the environment. The vessel also provides insight into social organization and cultural expression. Such artifacts were likely produced by specialized artisans within the community, indicating a division of labor and the transmission of technical knowledge. The presence of highly decorated vessels suggests that certain objects held social or ritual importance, perhaps reserved for leaders, shamans, or ceremonial events. Ownership of an elaborately decorated rain vessel may have conveyed status, spiritual authority, or communal respect, reinforcing social bonds and shared beliefs. Archaeologists have discovered similar vessels across Japan, each with unique variations in shape, size, and decoration. This regional diversity illustrates the dynamic nature of Jauman culture, with local communities adapting techniques and motifs to reflect environmental conditions, resources, and cultural preferences. Despite these variations, the common theme of water and rainfall demonstrates a shared understanding of the vital role of nature in sustaining life. The vessel, in this sense, becomes a unifying symbol of human resilience, adaptation, and reverence for the natural world. In examining the vessel, one is struck not only by its craftsmanship, but by the philosophical and spiritual dimensions it embodies. Water is transient, flowing, and unpredictable, yet the Jauman people sought to capture and preserve it, creating a permanent object that mirrors an ephemeral force. This act of containment is metaphorical as well as practical, symbolizing humanity's desire to understand, manage, and honor the elements that govern existence. The vessel thus becomes a meditation on impermanence, the human relationship with nature, and the pursuit of continuity through material culture. The discovery of such vessels has transformed our understanding of prehistoric Japan. Far from being simple hunter-gatherers, the Jauman people were sophisticated artisans, keen observers of the environment, and participants in complex spiritual and social practices. Each vessel serves as a record of cognitive, technical, and artistic achievement, revealing a society capable of abstract thought, symbolic communication, and aesthetic refinement. The rain vessel, in particular, highlights the interconnectedness of practical necessity, ritual practice, and artistic expression, demonstrating that early humans sought to create objects that were simultaneously useful, beautiful, and meaningful. Moreover, the vessel speaks to the universality of human concerns. Across time and geography, humans have sought to collect water, honor the forces that sustain life, and imbue mundane objects with symbolic meaning. The Jauman rain vessel connects us to this broader human story, reminding us that technological innovation, artistic creativity, and spiritual reflection are inseparable aspects of our shared history. It is a testament to the enduring capacity of human beings to transform necessity into beauty, survival into ritual, and observation into art. In modern museums, the vessel is displayed with reverence, allowing viewers to appreciate both its physical qualities and its cultural significance. Scholars continue to study its construction, patterns, and context, uncovering insights about social structures, environmental adaptation, and religious practice. Visitors, meanwhile, are drawn to its intricate designs, imagining the hands that shaped it, the ceremonies it may have witnessed, and the rains it once collected. The vessel is thus not a static object, but a living connection to a past in which humans, water, and nature were inseparably intertwined. The legacy of the Jomon rain vessel extends beyond archaeology. It inspires contemporary artists, potters, and designers who seek to capture similar themes of nature, flow, and interconnectedness. Its patterns influence modern aesthetics, while its function reminds us of the ingenuity of ancient technologies. Through this artifact, the ancient and modern converge, allowing us to reflect on continuity, creativity, and the enduring relationship between humans and the natural world. Ultimately, the vessel that captured rain embodies a profound narrative about life, survival, and the human spirit. It demonstrates that even in the prehistoric era, humans possessed the insight, skill, and imagination to create objects that transcended mere utility. It invites us to ponder the cycles of nature, the fragility of life, and the ways in which material culture can preserve knowledge, belief, and artistry across thousands of years. Each groove, each chord pattern, and each curve resonates with the echo of rain, the touch of the potter's hand, and the worldview of a people who understood that survival, beauty, and spirituality were deeply interconnected. The vessel stands as a testament to human ingenuity, artistic expression, and the enduring significance of water as a life-giving force. It reminds us that artifacts are not merely objects of the past. They are storytellers, carrying messages of resilience, reverence, and creativity through time. In its presence, we witness a civilization that honored the elements, celebrated craftsmanship, and sought to capture the ephemeral in a tangible, lasting form. The Jomon rain vessel, surviving thousands of years, continues to speak, inviting all who encounter it to marvel at the beauty, intelligence, and spiritual insight of a people whose lives were inextricably connected to the rhythms of nature. The cup that knew kings. As the lowering hills and river valleys of what is now southwestern Germany, atop the ancient settlement of Heuneberg, a civilization once thrived whose influence and sophistication would astonish modern historians. Heuneberg, a fortified hilltop city dating back to the early Iron Age, was a hub of culture, trade, and elite power in Europe long before the Roman Empire stretched its shadow over the continent. Among the treasures unearthed from this remarkable archaeological site, one artifact stands out not only for its craftsmanship but for the stories it seems to carry: a golden cup, intricately designed, whose history is intertwined with the elite rulers of Heuneberg and their ceremonial practices. This artifact, known today as the cup that knew kings, is far more than a drinking vessel. It is a silent witness to power, ceremony, diplomacy, and the artistry of a people who understood that objects could speak across generations. The cup was discovered in the early 20th century during systematic excavations of the Heuneberg settlement. Archaeologists were drawn to the site by its enormous defensive walls, evidence of urban planning, and the sheer density of Iron Age occupation. Within layers of occupation, burial grounds, and elite residences, the golden cup emerged as a singular example of craftsmanship, symbolic authority, and cultural sophistication. Made from pure gold and shaped with a careful hand, it bears subtle decorations, finely incised patterns, and a design that reflects both aesthetic sensibilities and ceremonial function. Unlike ordinary vessels used for daily life, this cup was clearly meant for the elite rulers, chieftains, or high-ranking guests, and its very existence implies the presence of complex social hierarchies and ritualized behaviors. The cup itself is relatively small but deceptively powerful in impact. Its curvature, weight, and texture reveal the skill of Iron Age goldsmiths, who had mastered techniques of hammering, engraving, and shaping metal. The gold surface is both reflective and durable, catching light in ways that would have been striking in the flickering illumination of a great hall or ceremonial space. It is believed that such cups were used not only for drinking wine or mead, but as symbols of status and divine favor. To drink from a cup of gold was to participate in an elite ritual, to momentarily share in the power and prestige of rulers whose authority was both social and spiritual. Archaeological studies suggest that Heuneberg was a city of considerable importance, serving as a nexus for trade between Mediterranean cultures, Central Europe, and Celtic communities across the continent. The cup, therefore, is not only a local artifact, but also part of a broader network of material culture, diplomacy, and exchange. Gold itself was a precious commodity, often imported or acquired through trade, and the ability to craft it into a ceremonial object demonstrates wealth, sophistication, and international connections. By holding this cup, an Iron Age ruler would not merely drink, they would embody the wealth, influence, and prestige of their lineage and city, communicating power through gesture and material culture. The symbolic value of the cup extends beyond wealth. It is likely that such a vessel played a role in ritualized ceremonies, perhaps offerings to deities, oaths of allegiance, or feasting rituals that reinforced social hierarchies. The designs on the cup, subtle as they may appear, carry meaning. Engraved lines, dots, and patterns could represent cosmological ideas, clan symbols, or even storytelling elements, encoding knowledge, authority, and memory into a tangible object. Every curve and indentation was deliberate, reflecting a worldview in which art, ritual, and governance were inseparably intertwined. Hoineberg's archaeological record shows that the elite spaces where such cups were likely used were carefully arranged to impress and convey authority. Longhouses, ceremonial halls, and fortified areas suggest that rulers understood architecture, visibility, and symbolism. The golden cup in such a context would have been a focal point, a visual and tactile emblem of prestige. Guests would be invited to partake in feasts, drink from golden vessels, and thereby acknowledge the authority of the host, creating social bonds and reinforcing the legitimacy of the ruling elite. In this way, the cup is a witness to human behavior, ritualized politics, and the subtle interplay between material culture and social power. The craftsmanship of the cup is also a window into technological innovation during the Iron Age. Gold, being a soft and malleable metal, requires careful handling to avoid cracks, tears, or deformations. Artisans had to balance the metal's properties with aesthetic considerations, achieving both functionality and beauty. This level of expertise implies specialized knowledge, apprenticeship systems, and cultural emphasis on skilled labor. The cup thus embodies not only wealth and status, but also intellectual and technical achievement, capturing the ingenuity of a people who thrived long before modern tools and machinery. Beyond the technical and ceremonial, the cup carries historical significance that resonates across time. It offers clues about trade, communication, and cultural exchange. Heineberg was strategically located along important trade routes, and artifacts like the Golden Cup suggest contact with Mediterranean cultures, possibly through imports of wine, luxury goods, and ideas. The cup may have been used in feasts where foreign dignitaries were entertained, serving as a tool of diplomacy and cross-cultural engagement. In this sense, it is both a local and global artifact, linking the people of Iron Age Germany to a wider world of commerce, culture, and prestige. The cup also serves as a meditation on mortality and continuity. Gold does not corrode, bend, or break easily, and its use for ceremonial objects reflects an understanding that certain items are meant to outlast generations. The cup, therefore, is not merely a vessel but a symbol of enduring legacy. The rulers who drank from it sought permanence, a way to be remembered, and a means of embedding themselves in the collective memory of their community. In this way, the cup speaks to universal human concerns: power, memory, artistry, and the desire to leave an imprint upon the world. Its discovery has prompted extensive scholarly debate, particularly regarding its original function, symbolic meaning, and cultural context. Some argue that the cup was used primarily in domestic feasting, others that it played a role in religious or initiatory ceremonies. Regardless of its exact usage, the cup's existence is undeniable evidence of the sophistication, wealth, and cultural vision of Heineberg's elite. It demonstrates that even in the early Iron Age, societies were capable of producing objects of immense beauty, symbolic depth, and social significance. The cup's presence among other Heineberg artifacts, weapons, jewelry, imported pottery, and evidence of large-scale construction underscores the holistic nature of material culture in this society. Wealth, power, religion, and artistry were inseparable, each reinforcing the other. By studying the cup alongside these associated finds, archaeologists can reconstruct a world in which human ambition, creativity, and ritual were closely intertwined, creating a civilization that resonates across millennia. In examining the cup today, one is struck not only by its material beauty, but by the human stories it represents, the hands that shaped it, the rituals in which it played a part, the leaders who drank from it, and the artisans who labored over every detail. All of these human lives converge in a single object. It is a bridge across time, connecting us to a society both distant and familiar, one that understood that objects could hold memory, convey authority, and evoke awe. The Heineberg Gold Cup thus transcends its immediate context, inspiring modern appreciation for ancient craftsmanship, ritual, and social complexity. It reminds us that power is not only exercised through armies and fortifications, but through objects imbued with meaning, objects capable of communicating identity, status, and belief. The cup stands as a testament to human ingenuity, creativity, and the enduring desire to capture the fleeting essence of prestige, ceremony, and memory in tangible form. In conclusion, the cup that knew kings is far more than an exquisite piece of gold. It is a story in metal, a reflection of a civilization's values, artistry, and understanding of power. It connects us with ancient rulers and artisans, allowing us to glimpse lives, rituals, and societies that existed thousands of years before our own. It is an artifact that speaks silently but profoundly, reminding us that objects in their beauty and function can preserve the essence of human experience across the ages. As we continue our journey into the story of the cup that knew kings, it is essential to situate the artifact within the broader cultural and societal framework of Heineberg. The settlement was not merely a fortified hilltop, it was a center of political authority, economic exchange, and ceremonial life in Iron Age Europe. The cup, made of gold and designed with meticulous precision, reflects these complex dynamics, serving as a focal point for understanding power, social hierarchy, and cultural identity. Heineberg's strategic location along the Danube River and surrounding valleys facilitated not only trade but also the spread of ideas, technologies, and artistic styles. The presence of Mediterranean imports, such as Greek pottery and bronze tools, indicates that the rulers of Heineberg were in contact with distant cultures, engaging in a sophisticated network of commerce and diplomacy. Within this context, the Golden Cup can be seen as both a local creation and a symbol of international awareness, blending indigenous Iron Age techniques with stylistic influences from the broader European and Mediterranean worlds. The cup's design also reveals much about the ceremonial practices of Heineberg's elite. Archaeological evidence suggests that the settlement contained spaces designated for feasting, ritual gatherings, and public assemblies. These halls, often constructed on terraces or hilltop platforms, would have been spaces of visibility and power. To drink from a gold cup in such a setting was a performative act, reinforcing authority and social cohesion. It was not merely an indulgence, it was a statement of identity, status, and legitimacy. Guests and participants in these rituals would recognize the symbolic significance of the cup, understanding that its owner wielded not just wealth but spiritual and social influence as well. The gold itself carried meaning. Beyond its intrinsic value, gold was associated with divinity, eternity, and purity. By choosing this metal for ceremonial vessels, the rulers of Heineberg were asserting a connection between their authority and enduring cosmic or spiritual principles. The cup, therefore, functioned as a mediator between the earthly and the sacred, between human ambition and the greater forces of the natural and spiritual worlds. Drinking from such a vessel could have been an act of communion, a way to align oneself with ancestral power, cosmic order, or divine favor. The meticulous craftsmanship of the cup speaks to an intricate social system. Creating a gold vessel of this quality required specialized knowledge, apprenticeships, and collaboration among skilled artisans. The existence of such objects implies a society that valued expertise, invested in the training of craftsmen, and recognized the importance of artistic production as a component of social power. Each engraved line and subtle curve was the product of careful planning, repeated practice, and cultural intention, demonstrating that art and authority were inseparable in the Iron Age elite context. Further insight comes from the broader assemblage of artifacts at Heineberg. Alongside the Golden Cup, archaeologists uncovered weapons, jewelry, imported ceramics, and evidence of large-scale fortifications. This material culture paints a picture of a society conscious of both display and defense, one in which the demonstration of power was as much about aesthetic and ritualized objects as it was about military might. The Golden Cup thus fits into a larger symbolic economy, where objects communicate prestige, social rank, and political authority across generations. The cup also offers a glimpse into the rituals surrounding leadership and kingship in Iron Age Europe. Drinking ceremonies, feasts, and oath-taking rituals were central to the consolidation of power. Such events were opportunities for rulers to reinforce loyalty, establish hierarchies, and legitimize their authority. The Golden Cup would have been an essential prop in these ceremonies, a tangible representation of power that participants could see, touch, and revere. Its very presence would signal the seriousness of the ritual, the wealth of the host, and the sacred or ceremonial weight of the occasion. One of the most compelling aspects of the cup is its ability to bridge temporal distances. Though centuries separate modern observers from the people of Heineberg, the cup allows us to connect with their daily lives, aspirations, and spiritual practices. It embodies continuity. The same material, gold, survives through time. The same symbolic meanings can be inferred. The same sense of human creativity and ambition resonates across millennia. Handling, studying, or even observing the cup invites contemplation of the complex interplay between art, ritual, and society that defined this ancient community. The cup also raises questions about mobility, exchange, and the interconnectedness of Iron Age Europe. Its stylistic elements suggest influences beyond the immediate region, hinting at contact with Mediterranean cultures, the Celts, and other European communities. Whether through trade, diplomatic exchange, or migration, the presence of these influences underscores the dynamic nature of Heineberg society. The cup, therefore, is not an isolated object but part of a vast web of human interaction, reflecting the movement of ideas, materials, and cultural practices across the continent. Beyond its historical and social significance, the cup is a marvel of artistry. Its polished surfaces, engraved patterns, and proportional elegance reveal aesthetic sensibilities that rival much later craftsmanship. The artisans of Heineberg were attuned to the interplay of light, texture, and form, creating an object that was both functional and visually captivating. Its ability to catch the eye, evoke admiration, and convey meaning underscores the universal human desire to combine beauty with utility, to infuse everyday objects with cultural and spiritual significance. Scholars continue to study the cup to understand its full significance. Questions about its exact use, the identity of its original owner, and the meaning of its patterns remain open, inviting ongoing exploration and interpretation. Each discovery at Huenberg adds new dimensions to our understanding, revealing a society capable of remarkable innovation, complex ritual, and sophisticated aesthetic expression. The cup serves as a focal point for these investigations, a tangible reminder of the human capacity to create objects that communicate power, identity, and reverence across centuries. The cup also illuminates broader human themes, transcending its immediate context. It is a symbol of ambition, creativity, and the desire to leave a mark on the world. It reminds us that material objects are not merely functional, but also carriers of meaning, memory, and cultural identity. Through this cup, we encounter a society that understood the interplay of wealth, spirituality, and artistry, using a single object to encapsulate multiple dimensions of life. In the modern world, the Huenberg Gold Cup inspires both awe and scholarly fascination. Museums, researchers, and enthusiasts study it as a masterpiece of Iron Age craftsmanship and a window into ancient European civilization. Its enduring presence sparks curiosity, imagination, and reverence, demonstrating that objects, even as small as a drinking cup, can preserve knowledge, tradition, and the essence of a culture for thousands of years. Ultimately, the cup that knew kings is a testament to human ingenuity, ritual practice, and the enduring power of art. It connects us to a society that valued symbolism, hierarchy, and beauty, revealing how early European elites communicated authority, identity, and reverence through material culture. It embodies continuity across time, a bridge between past and present, and a reminder that even the simplest seeming objects can carry profound significance. Through this golden vessel, we glimpse the lives, beliefs, and aspirations of a people who understood that true power lies not only in might, but also in the objects that represent and preserve it for generations. The coin that outlived kingdoms. In the sun-scorched lands of ancient Persia, amidst rolling deserts, fertile river valleys, and the rugged Zagrums mountains, a civilization arose that would forever change the face of the ancient world. The Achaemenid Empire, founded by Cyrus the Great in the 6th century BCE, stretched from the Indus River in the east to the shores of the Aegean in the west. Within this vast empire of diverse peoples, cultures, and landscapes, a single artifact emerged that, though small and seemingly unassuming, carried immense significance across centuries: the Persian Daric, a gold coin that would outlive kingdoms, dynasties, and empires, and serve as a silent witness to the rise and fall of one of history's greatest powers. The Daric, often associated with the reign of Darius I, was not merely currency, it was a symbol of political authority, economic innovation, and the cultural sophistication of the Achaemenids. Struck from pure gold, each Daric bore the image of the Persian king, usually depicted as an archer in the act of releasing an arrow, a motif that encapsulated both martial prowess and sovereign power. The coin's design was deliberately crafted to communicate the might of the emperor, projecting authority to subjects, merchants, and allies across an empire that spanned thousands of miles. Every Daric circulated not just as a medium of exchange, but as a tangible proclamation of imperial identity, a portable emblem of Achaemenid order in a world often fractured by local rivalries and competing polities. Archaeological findings suggest that the Daric served multiple purposes. Economically, it facilitated trade across the empire and beyond, enabling merchants from Lydia, Babylonia, and India to engage in commerce with a trusted and standardized currency. The introduction of the Daric simplified transactions, reduced the reliance on barter, and allowed the Achaemenids to unify disparate regions under a common monetary system. But the coin's significance extended beyond the practical. It functioned as propaganda, reinforcing the king's presence in distant provinces. Every coin carried the image of the emperor, ensuring that even in remote corners of the empire, subjects were reminded of the sovereign's authority. The Daric's influence extended to diplomacy as well. Tributes paid to the Persian king by vassal states and client kingdoms were often in the form of gold coins, including Darics. These coins traveled across oceans, deserts, and mountain passes, entering the hands of foreign dignitaries, traders, and armies. As they moved, they carried the mark of the Achaemenid Empire, subtly reinforcing its prestige and power. For a merchant in Sardis or a general in Egypt, holding a Daric was a reminder of the vast political and economic network to which they were connected, a network orchestrated from the distant throne of Persepolis. The design of the Daric itself was laden with symbolism. The archer poised to release his arrow represented vigilance, precision, and the king's ability to strike decisively against enemies. The uniformity and high-quality gold content conveyed stability and trust, signaling that the Persian Empire's wealth and authority were backed by real resources. Even the choice of gold, rather than silver or bronze, spoke volumes about the Achaemenid understanding of value, permanence, and perception. Gold, with its enduring luster and rarity, was a medium that transcended time, making the Daric not only a coin, but a cultural artifact intended to endure through generations. The circulation of Darics had profound implications for the broader ancient world. Greek historians and poets of the classical era, such as Herodotus, frequently reference the wealth of the Persian kings, describing vast treasuries, lavish ceremonies, and tribute systems that relied on standardized coinage. While many of these accounts emphasize the empire's opulence, they also underscore the practical and symbolic role of the Daric in consolidating power. By standardizing currency, the Achaemenids could pay soldiers, fund monumental construction projects, and administer distant provinces more efficiently than earlier empires, ensuring cohesion across a vast and culturally diverse realm. The survival of the Daric into modern times is remarkable. While empires rise and fall, kingdoms crumble, and dynasties are erased from memory, these coins endure, their gold resisting corrosion and decay. Museum collections around the world now house Darics, each one a testament to the craftsmanship, economy, and political vision of the Achaemenid rulers. Numismatists study them not only for their material value, but for the wealth of historical insight they provide, examining the iconography, weight, and distribution patterns to reconstruct trade routes, economic policies, and imperial strategy. The Daric's impact extends into art and culture as well. Its archer motif inspired later coinage in the region and influenced neighboring civilizations. Coins struck in Lydia, Bactria, and even the Hellenistic kingdoms bear stylistic echoes of the Persian prototype. The imagery and symbolism became a visual language of power, demonstrating how material culture can transmit ideas across time and geography. In this way, the Daric is not merely a coin, it is a vessel of cultural memory, encoding the aesthetics, priorities, and authority of one of the ancient world's most influential empires. Beyond economic and political dimensions, the Daric offers a meditation on human ambition and legacy. It reminds us that rulers understood the power of material objects to communicate authority and preserve their memory. Unlike monumental architecture, which can be destroyed or repurposed, a small coin could travel across borders, reach distant lands, and survive centuries, silently asserting the presence and identity of the empire that produced it. To hold a Daric is to touch history, to feel the weight of a world long past, and to engage with the ambitions, fears, and achievements of rulers who sought to define their place in eternity. The production of Darics was itself a sophisticated endeavor. Persian mints were strategically located to ensure quality and consistency, employing skilled artisans who could hammer and engrave gold with precision. The process required not only technical skill but administrative oversight, as the weight and purity of each coin were essential to maintaining confidence across the empire. Any deviation could undermine trust in the currency, with economic and political consequences. Thus, each Daric embodies a delicate balance of craftsmanship, governance, and symbolism, reflecting the complexities of sustaining a sprawling empire. The historical context of the Daric also illuminates broader societal structures. The Achaemenid Empire encompassed a vast array of peoples, languages, and cultures. Standardized coinage served as a unifying tool, creating a shared economic and symbolic framework. Through these small gold discs, the empire communicated its values, its reach, and its vision of order. Every transaction conducted with a Daric reinforced this cohesion, subtly embedding loyalty, recognition, and imperial identity into everyday life. Furthermore, the Daric's endurance offers lessons about the nature of legacy. While buildings, walls, and even cities may crumble under the passage of time, small, well-crafted objects can survive, carrying with them stories, symbols, and cultural knowledge. The Persian Daric, in its humble yet profound form, exemplifies this principle. It has outlived the empires it served, providing modern generations with a tangible link to a civilization that shaped the course of history. The Daric also sparks imagination about the lives of those who used it. Soldiers marching to distant campaigns, merchants trading spices and textiles, or provincial governors paying tribute. Each encounter with a Daric was a moment in which the abstract power of the empire became real. The coin functioned as a bridge between distant authorities and local actors, a means of translating imperial ideology into daily practice. Its presence in various regions underscores the complexity, reach, and sophistication of Persian governance. In studying the Daric today, scholars also consider its symbolism in a broader narrative of human civilization. Coins are among the earliest forms of portable, standardized, and widely recognized value systems. They encapsulate the intersection of economy, art, politics, and technology. The Daric stands as a prime example, illustrating how a single object can mediate commerce, communicate power, and endure as a cultural icon for millennia. Ultimately, the coin that outlived kingdoms is more than gold. It is a storyteller, a messenger, and a witness to human ambition, ingenuity, and the desire for permanence. From the bustling markets of Persepolis to the hands of distant merchants, from ceremonial treasuries to modern museum display cases, the Daric has traversed time and space, carrying with it the essence of an empire, the identity of rulers, and the artistry of human civilization. Its survival challenges us to consider the objects around us today and the stories they may carry into the future, reminding us that even the smallest artifacts can hold extraordinary significance. Thank you for joining us on this journey through history's hidden treasures. If you enjoyed exploring these artifacts, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and let us know where you're watching from. Stay curious, and we'll see you in the next adventure on Unearthed Secrets.